Would you dare to live in a shelter like this? Outside, a furious storm rages. But inside this tiny house perched high in a massive tree, it's safe and unbelievably cozy. Not only is there a warm wood stove, but during his downtime, he can cook gourmet meals by a nearby lake. He's turned wilderness survival into pure poetry. Leaving his last shelter behind, our bearded woodsman is searching for a new campsite. And then, he finds it. Blocking his path is a massive, broken tree. Judging by the dark, charred top, it was likely struck by lightning, a gift from the storm. A smile spreads across his hardened-style beard. He's tired of shelters on the ground. Today, he's going to build a suspended treehouse. He's about to upgrade his life. With a handsaw, he attacks a fallen birch, slicing 2 thick logs to serve as the main support beams. He notches them to fit perfectly into the hollow of the broken tree trunk. But to make it truly stable, he lashes it to the tree with heavy-duty rope. Just look at this, a locking technique as old as the mountains themselves. This is an ancient, lost art. Next, he gathers thinner, more flexible vines. Using the beams as a diameter, he weaves a circular foundation for his future home. Realizing the work is now moving from the ground to the air, he has to quickly craft a ladder. To create a stable floor to stand on, he lays wooden slats radiating out from the center, like spokes on a wheel. For the walls, he selects strong yet pliable vines, bending them upwards towards the sky. He weaves them into a structure that looks like a giant birdcage. The main frame of the treehouse is complete. As the sun breaks through the clouds, it's time for lunch. He finds the perfect spot by the lake, gets a fire going, and lays out his tools. First, the prep work. That one-handed slash through the ginger and lemon? Way more satisfying than watching those fruit-cutting videos on your phone. He's constantly adjusting the camera, trying to capture every perfect moment for us. He peels and juliennes fresh ginger. And for the main course, a beautiful fillet of salmon. It's destined for a smoky baptism by fire. He scores the fish and ties it to a wild handmade grill rack. A drizzle of his secret marinade. And just like that, the flavor is kicked up a notch. The marinade? A mix of ginger, lemon, chili peppers, sea salt, and black pepper. It doesn't just cut the fishiness, it adds a bright, zesty flavor that balances the richness. But man cannot live on fish alone. He needs quality carbs and vitamins. He grabs some shallot-sized red onions, peeling and halving them. These are his favorite, so they go into the pan first. And of course, garlic, a powerhouse of flavor and health benefits. A quick flash of the knife, and they're ready. Now, for the premium carbohydrates. These perfectly round potatoes are instantly transformed into pan-ready wedges. High-end ingredients. Sprinkle of sea salt and pepper is all it takes. First, he sautés the potatoes and onions in the cast-iron pan until fragrant. Then, he tosses in vibrant cherry tomatoes to add a burst of sweetness. Right before it's done, a handful of fresh green parsley. A colorful, fragrant side dish of onions, tomatoes, and potatoes is ready to serve. Paired with the crispy on the outside, tender on the inside grilled salmon. This isn't just survival food. This is a healthy, nutritious, and incredibly satisfying feast. Fueled up and ready to go, he returns to the construction site. A light rain has started to fall again. The frame is done. Now, it's time for the finishing touches. With a low-cost philosophy, our woodsman gathers huge bundles of dried ferns. He meticulously weaves them into the outer walls, filling the gaps in the vine framework. As a mysterious fog rolls through the forest, the shelter is already starting to look like it can withstand the elements. Night is falling fast. Working in the dark could attract unwanted attention from curious creatures. He decides to leave the rest of the work for the morning. The priority now is to set up camp and survive the long night. Luckily, he's already planned for lighting. He finds a glob of natural clay, or wild cement, and shapes it into a shallow bowl. He fills the inside with oil-rich rape seeds, inserts 3 wicks, and his handmade wilderness candle casts a warm, flickering glow. Stay tuned to see how he finishes this incredible shelter. Would you dare to live in this shelter? Outside, a blizzard rages, but inside it's as warm as spring. In some spots, it's over 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 60 degrees Celsius. Before the sun is even up, he's awake. After a long night of chilling drafts, his first priority is to finish the door and windows. In the clearing in front of the shelter, he drives 3 parallel stakes into the ground. These will be the backbone of his door. Using these as a guide, he begins weaving thinner vines, layer by layer. He alternates the weave around the central post, creating a strong, interlocking pattern. To make the door even more rigid, he uses a knitting technique he learned from his grandmother, tightly binding the vines to the wooden frame with rope. It's a mesmerizing process, so complex you couldn't copy it even if you tried. With patience and the passage of time, the strong, beautiful door finally takes shape. Next, He digs a small hole next to the doorframe and buries an empty tin can. This will serve as a rustic, recycled door hinge, allowing the massive door to swing open and closed. He fills the remaining gap above the door with a carefully woven arch of vines. Even though it's still a slatted design, it will block a surprising amount of wind and rain. He uses a similar technique for the window. 4 sticks and some rope create the square frame. He fills the inside with woven vines, and it hangs perfectly in the window opening. The treehouse shelter is officially complete. On a quiet afternoon, he opens the window, lights a candle, and brews a steaming cup of coffee. He watches the endless sea of autumn leaves. This feeling of peace and relaxation, it's priceless. Before you know it, it's dinner time. He finds another perfect spot, uses a log as a base, and gets a campfire roaring. While the fire gets hot, he prepares the main course. He adds a pinch of sea salt to a bowl of flour for a base flavor, then mixes in yeast activated with warm water. It's time to get his hands dirty. A drizzle of olive oil keeps the dough from sticking. He kneads it into a ball, then gives it a slap and lets it rest. Once it has risen, he immediately puts the fresh dough into a flat-bottomed pan, brushes it with egg wash, and sprinkles on some chopped nuts. He puts the lid on and lets it bake slowly by the fire. Now, for the star of the show, 2 beautiful sirloin steaks. He gives them a good massage with olive oil and a generous coating of sea salt. They hit the sizzling cast iron pan for a hard sear. After that perfect Maillard reaction, he gives them a quick flip. You don't want to overcook these. He pulls them off the heat and lets them rest. While the steaks are resting, the bread is baked to a perfect golden brown. The crust looks incredibly crispy. He slices it into thick chunks, but he's not done yet. He adds a layer of cheese for the second stage of a 2-part cooking process. While the cheese melts, he slices the steak. Look at that, a perfect medium rare. He starts with the cheesy, crusty bread as a base, slathers on a layer of rich secret sauce, then generously stacks the steak high. Fresh, peppery arugula is a must. And if that's not enough, how about 3 fried eggs on top? And there you have it. A humble yet absolutely epic wilderness steak burger is ready. He can't wait to take a bite. First the crunch, then an explosion of rich flavors floods his palate. With a full stomach, he returns to the shelter, packs his gear, and ends his 3-day wilderness adventure. He walks over the fallen leaves, towards the next chapter of his journey. So, what do you guys think of this lifestyle? Would you dare to live in a wild shelter like this? Outside, a blizzard rages, but deep beneath the moss, this small cabin is as warm as spring. In some spots, it's over 140 degrees Fahrenheit, 60 degrees Celsius. A quiet night passes. As daylight breaks, the morning mist clears to reveal the fiery red of the maple leaves. It's another beautiful, crisp autumn day. He crosses a mountain ridge. Before him, waterfalls cascade down the rocks into a stream. A perfect picture of untouched, natural beauty. After a long night, he plunges his head into the ice-cold stream. It instantly washes away his fatigue, waking him completely. After washing up, he makes sure to finish his shelter, fast. He chooses large flat stones that can withstand intense heat to build his stove. Using wild cement, he stacks them layer by layer. Once it reaches the right height, he begins to taper it inwards. This upper section will become the chimney flue. Next, he prepares more clay, plastering it all over the woven branch walls. The process of shaping and smoothing the clay is incredibly satisfying. The cool, smooth texture looks silky in his hands. With the walls mudded, he gathers some uniquely shaped, flexible vines. He bends them into the perfect arch, connecting them to the vertical posts on each side. Starting from the doorway, he works his way back, creating a series of mirrored arches. If a vine isn't long enough, he simply joins 2 together, wrapping the joint with rope for extra strength. A beautiful and sturdy roof frame begins to take shape. To protect against rain and snow, he pulls out a special item he rarely uses, a plastic tarp. Its thick, frosted material is a brilliant choice. It's not only practical, but also provides natural light while protecting his privacy. The wind on the mountain is strong, so he adds another reinforcing layer of vines over the plastic. This double protection system makes the roof incredibly wind-resistant, but the white tarp stands out too much. Using local materials, he transplants patches of lush green moss onto the roof. He leaves one square open for a skylight. As more and more moss finds a home on his roof, the cabin begins to blend seamlessly into the environment. It's now beautiful and perfectly camouflaged. At the same time, he needs to finish the fireplace chimney. Using small stones and clay, he builds it up, layer by layer, until it passes through the roof. He's careful to protect the plastic tarp, rolling it away from the high heat areas. He uses heat-resistant stones to fill the gap where the chimney meets the roof. And with that, the main structure of the shelter is complete. The interior decorating can wait. His stomach is growling. It's time to make something delicious to replenish his calories. A yellow onion is essential. He cuts half and puts it in a copper pot with a splash of olive oil, placing it in the embers to roast. A dry carrot might not look like much, but it's packed with nutrients. He adds a purple sweet potato for color and texture. And the final, ever-present ingredient, a skin-on potato. By now, the smell of roasting onion is filling the air. He throws all the ingredients into the pot, adds water, and puts it back on the fire to stew. While it cooks, he's not idle. He finds 2 smooth stones in the stream, washes them, and brings them back to the shelter. They will serve as a makeshift mortar and pestle. He roughly grinds some wheat, cracking open the grains. He adds the whole mixture, husk and all, into the pot for extra fiber. With the addition of white mushrooms, this stew has reached its nutritional peak. As the chimney smoke, a light rain has begun to fall outside again. Half an hour later, a fragrant stew of vegetables and grains is ready to eat. He eats it while it's hot. The soft, sweet meal warms him from the inside out. Before he knows it, darkness falls. He sits by the warm, crackling fireplace, slicing hawthorn berries into his teapot to brew. Soon, he's sipping on a rich, flavorful fruit tea. Watching the dancing flames, listening to the pitter-patter of rain on the roof, a wave of drowsiness washes over him. The woodsman curls up in his sleeping bag and falls into a deep sleep. In the twilight, an autumn rain, 1,000 feelings. Good night, everyone. Sleep well. So, what do you think of this wilderness experience?